Dear General Sciences and Life Sciences students, in this lesson we will discuss a current concern which is related to prolonging life in the future. Together, we will learn about fictitious and scientific methods of prolonging life. We will also reflect on how our life would look like in the future. Together, we will answer a group of questions. We will learn about different types of introductions and we will discover the meanings of new words. Have you ever thought about whether it's males or females who live longer? Let's find out. According to a certain study, females usually live longer than males because they are expected to live till the age of 81, whereas males are expected to live till the age of 76. In another study, it has been shown that between 2000 and 2018, the average life expectancy of males in the UK increased from 75.9 to 79.25, whereas the life expectancy of females increased from 80.57 to 82.93. This means that although females live more than males, both are currently living longer. In a third study, it has been shown that between 1995 and 2015, the average life expectancy of both males and females in the US increased from 75.5 to 78.7 and from 75.5 to 80.3 in OECD countries. According to some legends, people can extend their lifespan, stay young, or even live forever. But how is this possible? In fact, it's possible in three ways. First, the elixir of life is a liquid that can prolong life. Another substance is the philosopher's stone that may not have been a stone at all, but a powder that can cure illnesses, prolong life, and even transform base metals into gold and silver. Alchemists also believed that an elixir of life could be derived from it. Third, the fountain of youth is a spring that supposedly restores the youth of people who drink or bathe in its waters. Scientifically speaking, scientists have recently managed to extend the lifespan of roundworms by 500%. This means that they can increase the lifespans of humans to 400 or even 500 years. The support provided in intensive care environments can allow physicians to prolong life and consequently postpone death in circumstances that were not possible in the past. One corollary or consequence may be that the expectations for recovery from critical illnesses have become very high. Many of you might have seen this picture before. This picture belongs to the oldest person on record. Her name is Jean-Louise Calment. She is a French woman who died at the age of 122. In this picture, she was celebrating her 121st birthday. How did she manage to survive that long? Let's find out. In fact, she lived a comfortable life as she had a successful marriage and she never had to work. She was able to ride a bike when she was 100, and she was even able to smoke until the age of 117. During her life, she buried her husband, her only daughter, and her only grandson. Her husband died due to food poisoning, her daughter died because of pneumonia, and her grandson died in a car accident. Medical advances are expected to increase the maximum human lifespan from 115 to 150 or beyond, but will there be a way to help us get rid of wrinkles? Let's watch this video and find out about the function of enzyme treatments.
Half of the babies born this year will live to be 100. Is this a temporary trend or humankind 2.0? According to legend, Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de Leon landed in Florida in search of the Fountain of Youth. Today, the closest thing we have is a water hazard on the 17th hole of a golf course in Boca Raton. So we didn't find the Fountain of Youth, but we have managed to drastically extend the human lifespan over the last 100 years or so. So how did we do that? Things like improvements in agriculture or medical breakthroughs, like a doctor saying, maybe I should wash my hands before I perform surgery. Now a special report from the Obvious News Network. One way to increase your lifespan is to avoid getting sick. In Okinawa, people often live to the age of 100, so how do they do that? It's through a combination of things such as a low-calorie diet that's really rich in omega-3s, lots of regular exercise, and good genes. Right now, we can't really modify our genes that much, but we have the technology to analyze our DNA through saliva samples and determine if we're at risk for certain diseases, things like Alzheimer's or diabetes or cancer. But even if you're avoiding sickness or treating anything that you already have, you're still aging. You're still getting wrinkles, you're still shaking your fist at rowdy teenagers, which raises the question, what exactly is aging anyway? Though aging is a complex process, one aspect is that every time your cells divide, little DNA caps on the end of your chromosomes called telomeres get shorter, and once they're gone, the cell dies. Scientists at Harvard recently genetically engineered mice to have a gene with an enzyme that reverses this shortening, and the mice essentially got younger. It hasn't been tried yet on humans, but these short enzyme treatments might awaken sleeping stem cells, which repair tissues from the inside. All right, so we're gonna live healthier for a longer portion of our lives. That's great, but what if we wanna actually make our lifespans longer? One bet might be regenerative medicine. Surgeons in Sweden recently gave a man a trachea transplant. They scanned his trachea, and then they built a new one using stem cells taken from his bone marrow. That meant there was no donor and almost no risk of his body rejecting the trachea. Another option would be to print organs using a 3D bioprinter, like we talked about back in episode 3 of this series. As these things move closer and closer to reality, some hard questions come up. If people are born but they don't die, where do we put them? And on a more existential level, if there is no aging, what does death mean? We haven't found the fountain of youth, but maybe one day we will. Then you have to ask yourself, am I gonna jump in? Well, my response is, last one in's a grumpy old man.
With such advances in the medical field, scientists can make us live longer. Due to advances in anti-aging medicine, life extension may be within our reach, especially that millions of dollars are being spent on longevity research such as head transplants and cancer-killing nanobots, which are microscopic robots that can kill cancerous cells. Some scientists even believe that the first humans who will live to 1,000 years already live among us. All this proves that we are able to prolong life, but does this mean that people will no longer die? Of course not. Even in the world of near immortals, death will never disappear. There will always be wars, accidents, homicides, and new diseases. This means that we can only prolong our lives, but we cannot prevent death. With technologically advanced machines, we are able to prolong our lives and to postpone death, but maybe we need to ask ourselves, is postponing death a good thing? And if we postpone our death, how would we make room for new generations? With 5, 6, or more generations living at the same time, family dynamics would be very complex. And with the medical advances, fertility rates would probably plummet, and women may be less interested in rushing to give birth to children since there is no ticking biological clock. Despite all the advantages of prolonging life, the disadvantages might be much more. In fact, having too many people living at the same time might increase the problem of overpopulation, and this would definitely increase the percentage of people who are unemployed, the percentage of people who are unable to find places to live at. Means of transportation would not be enough for everyone. People might suffer from boredom, and this might create social conflicts, and in some cases, we might have more crimes. Now let's move to the application exercises. But before we can do this, let's get introduced to the different types of introductions. First, the funnel. In this style of introduction, a wide, general opening statement gradually becomes more narrow, just like a funnel, which has a wide opening that narrows to a small spout. Second, the anecdote. An anecdote is a short story about something that happened which illustrates the point you want to make in your essay. Third, the survey. In a survey introduction, the writer gives readers an overview of the information contained in the essay. A survey arouses the reader's interest by giving the reader a chance to agree or disagree with an opinion stated by the writer. Fourth, the quotation. Quotations are used when someone has clearly stated an opinion you agree with, and that will give the reader a clear idea of your point. Fifth, the question. Asking a question at the beginning of an essay is a useful tool for drawing the reader's attention and setting the tone for the essay. Sixth, setting the scene. Drawing a mental picture for the reader helps introduce essays. Using words that describe how things smell, look, feel, sound, and taste motivates the reader to read more. Seventh, definition. When a difficult or unknown term is going to be used throughout the essay, defining that term can serve as an introduction to the essay. Eighth, the striking statement. This could be a quote, facts, or statistics that are designed to draw the reader's attention by startling him or her with an impressive statement. Ninth, description. This type of introduction is a brief but lively description of the person or place you are profiling to lead your reader off to a great start. This should be filled with specific images as well as facts. Finally, introducing the don'ts. This type of introduction depends on telling the reader what not to do. Now let's work together in order to answer a set of questions. Question number 1. What type of introduction is used in this presentation and what purpose does it serve? At the beginning of the presentation, we have seen these images. They show the results of different studies. This means that the presentation starts with startling statistics which show the average life of males and females and the human life expectancy in certain countries. It serves to draw attention to the fact that females live longer than males and that the human life expectancy is gradually increasing. Question number 2. Why do you think females live longer than males? Your answers for this question might vary, but females probably live longer than males because males usually take risks, they practice dangerous sports, and they adopt bad habits such as drinking alcohol and smoking. Question number 3. Based on your understanding of the video, what are short enzyme treatments? Short enzyme treatments are treatments that awaken sleeping stem cells which repair tissues from the inside. They were experimented on mice to test if they could make mice look younger. Question number 4. Based on your understanding of what was stated earlier, is postponing death a positive or a negative thing? Postponing death has more disadvantages than advantages, since it leads to several problems such as overpopulation, unemployment, social conflicts, inability to find accommodation, and so on. Question number 5. Use contextual clues to find the meanings of the words below, then fill in each blank with the correct word to complete the following sentences. The words are immortals, homicide, corollary, and plummet. Here are the sentences that we have. Sentence number 1. Tyson was accused of homicide after his wife Mila was found dead. We're talking about an act of killing. Sentence number 2. Obesity is an example of corollary of regular overeating. Overeating is the result of obesity. Sentence number 3. It's well known that immortals meet each other, get married, and make families. Humans usually meet each other, get married, and make families. Sentence number 4. Commodity prices are expected to plummet in the coming months and everything will probably be more expensive. If it is going to be more expensive, this means that it is increasing. In this lesson, we have learned that although females live longer than males, both are expected to live longer in the future because of the advances in the medical field. We also learned that there are legends about regaining youth, but there are also scientific evidence. Moreover, we learned that death is a must, and that prolonging life has many advantages and disadvantages. Finally, we learned about the different types of introductions. Thank you for watching.